All right, another week in the books. The committee unveiled its top 10 rankings, and I've got my latest Power 10. Michella Chester here with NCAA Digital. The committee put Louisville on top, and very understandably so. I get it. It makes sense when you talk resumes and ranked wins, as committee chair Shireen Brantley broke down with me on Sunday. But I'm keeping Texas first in mind because they're Texas. They earned the right to stay at number one from their 2020 campaign despite a slightly weaker schedule this season. Plus, players like Logan Eggleston, Breon Butler, Skylar Fields, and more, they're all dominant. Louisville stands pat at 2, although they could be 1, and not much explanation is needed here. This team is capable of a championship. I truly believe it. Pittsburgh jumps up to number 3 this week after Wisconsin dropped a spot. Pitt just pulled off 2 sweeps following its 5-set loss to Louisville. The Panthers moved to 20-2 on the season with 2 losses to extremely good teams, Louisville and Georgia Tech. Wisconsin drops a spot to number 4 after a split weekend. One second they were looking unreal with a dominant sweep over Nebraska on the road. Then the next, they fell to Purdue and had an off night as a team. They struggled offensively and at the service line. It happens. And the loss to Purdue shows how good the Big Ten is. Nebraska beat Purdue, Wisconsin swept Nebraska, then Purdue took down Wisconsin. The Badgers now only have 2 losses on the season. Next, we've got Kentucky up at 5. They move up this week after pulling off the sweep over Tennessee. No easy feat. Tennessee took down Baylor and pushed Pitt to 5 earlier in the season. They're the real deal, and the committee had them in consideration for their top 10. So a good win for the Wildcat. Nebraska drops 1 spot to number 6 following 2 Big Ten losses over the weekend to Wisconsin and Minnesota in 5 sets. Despite the losses, I think this is a good team. If they hadn't dropped 3 games earlier in the season in the midst of lineup changes, they would have had just 2 losses in the Big Ten. Hello and welcome back, UCLA. The Bruins are back in my Power 10 at number 7 after securing a dominant sweep over Washington on Sunday. Mac May led with 18 kills in the no-doubter. They are now 17-3 on the season with a win over Washington, a win over Georgia Tech, who is in my Power 10, Stanford, and Utah. That's a good resume in a tough conference. The Cougars move up to number 8 after week 9. BYU drops just 1 spot since I believe UCLA's resume speaks louder than the Cougars. Strength of schedule remains as the biggest holdup for BYU, but I think they are a great team with great players. Kenzie Kerber was a phenomenal addition for them. Lastly, I close out my Power 10 with the same 2 teams as last week, Georgia Tech and Baylor. Ohio State and Washington were also in close consideration. Tech also made it into the committee's top 10. They've got a top 10 win over Pitt, which is super impressive, and 2 top 25 wins as well as 6 top 50 wins. Baylor stays pat at number 10 based on their resume this season. They were off this past weekend, but they'll face number 1 Texas on November 5th and 6th. Get excited for that. That's it. Who's in your top 10? Let us know and see you next week.